Hello, this is Carmen Hill, and I am recording this interview for the Gray Family Reunion, and I am recording my Aunt Muriel Moore. Hi, Auntie, how are you?
I am well. I am Murial Harp Moore, the daughter of Edna Dunn Harp, and she is the daughter of Juanita Dunn Gray. So that's how the linkage comes in. And I am the eldest of the Juanita Dunn Gray line of the Gray family sisters. Okay.
Thank you
And
for explaining that because, yes, that is a legacy that is to be proud of. So, I want to ask you a series of questions, starting out with childhood. What was it like growing up in your household, and where did you grow up?
well, there were six of us, six children. My mom had six children, mom and dad. Five of us were stair steps, and we were like the little rascals. The five of us were born in Peoria, Illinois, and Cynthia, who is the youngest, was born in Chicago, which is where we called home. We grew up in Chicago, all of us, basically. And that is pretty much what it was like growing up in our household, like the little rascals. We had a wonderful childhood.
Thank you so much for that. I can only imagine all of that joy in one house. The second question I wanted to ask is what kind of games did you and your siblings play?
Well, we played outdoors a lot, which unfortunately is not what children do today, but we did play outdoors a lot. There was a park right across the street from us. In the early childhoods, we lived in an apartment building, but later, when I was about 6 years old, we moved over to another side of Chicago, and there was a huge park which had all kinds of activities for kids to do, from swimming, from volleyball, from baseball, you name it, tap, ballet, all those kinds of games. So we mostly played outdoors and all of those with all of those kinds of outdoor games. Hide and seek, way staying out way late at night. And that was basically in during the spring and summer months and some of the fall, because during the winter time we didn't go outside. I mean, it was too cold in Chicago, if you know that. We didn't go outside to play that much. We did play in the snow, okay, but not that much out. We did a lot of board games at that time. So that was that me and my our siblings, like checkers and Scrabble, things like that. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing about the games that you played. And I'm assuming was basketball tossed up in there for your brothers at all?
Yes, but no, but I was a good basketball player. I am a good all around sports player outdoors. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. So you played with the boys, huh?
Track and field was my best suit was
Oh,
my yeah.
I
I've
didn't know
got
that.
many medals, many ribbons for track and field.
Look, your niece is learning stuff about you. I didn't even know that. Okay. Question number three is what chores and responsibilities did you have as a child?
Oh Lord. From a very young age, mom, because there were six of us, and she always tried for seven. She wanted to be like the seven grade, like her grandmother, and have seven children, but she didn't. And she did that because she had a skin condition on her hands, which prevented her from doing the dishes. There were no dishwashers back then, except for the Hart children. So doing the dishes was basically my job. We would take a week, and usually there was someone that would be willing to pay me to do their week. I wanted to do the dishes and ironing. I love to do because nobody wanted to do that. So that means my sisters and brothers would leave me alone, so I could do my chores and just get lost in thoughts. So dishes, we were taught to do all kinds of household chores from mopping at a very young age. That is why Many of us nowadays are very self sufficient in that. Unfortunately, not like children of today. So, that is the chores and responsibilities I did as a child.
Okay, that is awesome. And let's see, the last question in the childhood section is what race issues did you experience?
You know, and it's funny to say, but I don't remember in terms of childhood enduring any race issues. And I grew up in Chicago, even though it was gerrymandered, you know. I do remember at a very young age, and I might have been in, oh, first or second grade. Yeah, about first or second grade. There were three of us, young ladies, little girls, that hung out together. And it was so beautiful when I think back on it, and I remember their names. One was Mitsuko Tamiyama, Erica Foran, and then, of course, me. We hung out together doing everything. Mitsuko was Japanese, and Erica Foran was a Jewish young lady. So, Three Musketeers, we hung out doing that. Like I said, I don't remember encountering, and I don't know if I want to say it was because mom and dad protected us from that, because mom was a school teacher and she was very much in the neighborhood. She was a school teacher within the neighborhood, and dad was a police officer. So everybody knew one another because of my parents and what they did. So we didn't really encounter too much racism at that time. When we got older, of course, and we were out on our own more, yes, we did, because we grew up in the height of the Vietnam War and in the height of the civil rights movement. Okay, and that, as I say, becomes later in our life when we are teenagers, way teenagers in high school and off to college. Okay, so that was it.
Okay,
And
thank you for
I
sharing.
do want to go back to that one though. Yeah,
Sure,
just
go for it.
quickly, because my mom, I was the first one to go away to college. All of my brothers and sisters went away to went to college, but I went away and they shipped me off to, which is where I wanted to go, to Howard University in Washington D.C. My brother joined the R joined the Marines at that time. Jerome was the oldest, and I was next. Okay, he went to the Marines because it was the Vietnam War, and he endured a lot of racism inside the military, a lot of it. I, on the other hand, I was the activist. I was the one that for the March on Washington, Martin Luther King, the whole 9 yards. I was there. I was the one that stirred up a lot of me and my posse stirred up a lot of things on campus that had to do with race issues. We got a lot of students involved in that, did a lot of marching. So that's when we really, I want to say, really exploded in terms of the race issue. Okay, that's it.
Okay. Did you want to elaborate on Uncle Jerome's the racism that he
He
experienced, or are you satisfied
No,
with?
well, other than the fact, well, yeah, let me just briefly say that because my brother Jerome, he has passed, unfortunately, but in the Marines, and I do want to elaborate on that just a little bit, okay? Uh, he did 3, 4 tours of duties because, and this is to Vietnam, because he was insulated by God. Thank you very much, Lord. Yeah, but because a lot of those young men were getting blown up and so forth over there, his platoon officer did not like him because he was black, of course. I mean, they did not like him because of that and couldn't understand why Jerome wasn't being blown up too. So he kept re-enlisting Jerome, sending him back over to Vietnam. He just wanted him to go back and get killed or whatever. But my mom fought that. You know, that's the Gray Dunn harp stuff in us. You know, that starts with it. Mom fought it all the way up to Congress and so forth. Jerome was told to go AWOL, and he did go AWOL because my mom said, if you go back over there, you will be killed. He went AWOL while mom fought that his being called up to serve again, while mom fought that through Congress, through our aldermen, through our congressperson, all the way up. And it took about 3 years, I want to say. And it was overturned, meaning their conviction of the AWOL. And Jerome was given, it was wiped off of his record, and he was given all that back pay that he had lost. So, you know, and that brings me to me. I want to say that that's me. That's where I am my mom's daughter. Okay, Dad was, even though he was a police officer, he was more the quiet of the two of them. Mom was the activist, and I too. If something is wrong, we speak up. If something is wrong, we take action. Mom was like that from, I guess, a very, very young age. And I'm still like that today. If there's a cause out there, I'm in it. And if it's for right, I'm in it. So I guess you got a taste of what Muriel is like now. Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
that is excellent. Thank you so much for sharing. And that concludes the childhood section. So thank you
No, there
so
was
much
one
for all
more.
that.
Who were you closest to was the last one on that
Oh,
childhood. Yeah.
okay. So who were you closest to?
Bono, my sister, your mom
Yay.
was, I will say, was my best friend because I could beat her up. But anyway, she was my best friend. I did have a number of other friends, but Yvonne, because I mean, hey, the six of us, and we're stair steps. We were in the same classroom for most of our elementary school days because we had A and B classes at that time. I was in the A class, she was in the B class, meaning half semesters is what I'm talking about. So, not that I was A being much better than she was, but that's so many times we were in the same classroom. And she was she was my best, she was my friend. She was my friend. We had separate friends, but she was, I would say, and still to this day, my best friend. So that was Bono. Okay.
Oh, I love to hear that.
Yes.
Okay, so that then concludes the childhood section. So
Yes.
next we will move on. So the next section that we want to discuss is about parents and grandparents. And the first question I have from that section is, how would you describe your mother and father? What was each of them like day to day?
I'm going to start with my mom. Okay. Mom, as I had previously said, she was a school teacher. She was always, except for a short stint, when she worked at Montgomery Wards, but anyway, for a short stint, trying to get into the education system because she always believed I can make things grow except for my kids. She said was the biggest challenge for her. She said I can grow anything. She was a natural green thumb person, but she was, in essence, she was the consummate school teacher and community engager. She was a champion for human rights, and that doesn't matter whether it was one of her welfare moms on welfare, or a child that was kind of autistic or slow learner, as we called it back then. Uh, Mom was absolutely the consummate school teacher, and she brought that into the home too. We were forever, and I think that is why we are, I will say it, we are intelligent. She would call us her stupid kids, but anyway, that was for another reason. But We were. She definitely stressed education to us, and we did that. You know, all of us going off to college and achieving that degree. Okay, Dad, Dad was a police officer, and he was the steady one. I will call the steady one because you know Grays and Duns and Harps they can go bonkers. Okay, but Dad was the steady one in terms of his temperament. Um, he was a stickler for details, police officer, and he was the law and order person in the household. I mean, he didn't come in, but we knew that when dad was in the house, we didn't act up. If mom was there, yeah, we might act up. Yeah. He was faith based and faith driven. And, and he was a very proud man, very proud in terms of his children and later to be grandchildren and great grandchildren. He took that pride with him because he was born poor. He was born in Arkansas and he worked for both my parents did, worked hard for what they achieved in life coming from their meager beginnings, but they had the one thing the good Lord gave them. They had the brains, they had the intelligence to do and make something of themselves and make that path, lay that path out for their children as well. And that was my parents.
Oh, I love that. You're gonna make me cry. Yeah, I remember. Well, I remember
You
filling out
remember
an
everything I'm
application.
saying, right? Yeah,
I know. Well, I was filling out
I
an
know.
application one time and I said to Granddaddy, I said, I do not know what to put. I don't remember the stuff that I've done. And this man rattled off about six things. Well, you did such and such, and you did. And I was just floored that,
Blown away that he was
yes,
there. Oh man,
yes.
when
And
you would
we're
send
grandkids,
those
not the
pic,
kids, and
I
he
know,
knew.
I
He
know, but
knew
when you would send the
everything.
pictures, and this is the great grandkids, your pictures of your boys. Oh
Yes.
Lord, have mercy. I said I'm gonna
Oh,
go cut Carmen's hands off. He had your boys all plastered, all, and he would sit there. He was a very proud man. Sit
oh,
there and smile and rock. He got his little rock going. Yeah, that's one thing I got his little rock going and be good. Look at them boys. Look at them boys. You know,
oh.
he's very proud. He loved children. I don't know about his own, but you know, no, he did. He was very, very, very proud of all of us, including Yvonne, who fought him like mom, but who fought him. She had this, and I hope we're not recording this, right?
Oh, we very much are. So,
But this is being
yes,
recorded
this is
now.
being recorded. Yes, yes.
No, no, no,
So, so we will skip that part because I can't, I might have to edit
yeah,
that out. But let's go to the next
no.
question. How about that?
Absolutely. I'm done
Okay.
with AI. Okay.
Okay, okay. So the next question is, what are some lessons your parents taught you that still guide you today?
To stick up for, and Lord, does it ever guide me. Gets me in trouble, but it guides me. Stick up for and come to the aid of your brothers and sisters. They don't have to be biological, but your brothers and sisters when injustice is occurring. And I am the champion for that. Okay. You and to be honest with your thoughts and your actions. Those are the things that they taught us, and it still guides me today.
Absolutely. Beautiful legacy. So do you
Yes.
remember any sayings from your mom or your dad?
That they used often. Yeah, but they don't give us credit. Mom used to always say that these are my DAMN stupid kids. She would call, where are my damn stupid kids? uh, but that was lovingly, she said that. And dad would always say, because we were always teasing or pushing around one another in a good way. But he would always say, stop all that foolishness, y'all. Stop all that foolishness." So those were the two phrases that I remember. Mom would mom would say stupid kids to all of her friends, which she was very, very proud of us. And dad would say stop all that foolishness because that's what we were doing. We were just carrying on foolishness like kids. So anyway, that's those are the two phrases. Miss
Okay, those are the
Carmen.
two. What was mealtime like in your household?
Oh, remembering, remember the movie Soul Food? And remember now, current, the television program Blue Bloods. That was Harp House. Mealtime, it doesn't matter whether it was breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Breakfast, not so much because we had to scurry off to school. And lunchtime, because we ate lunch at school for the most part. But dinner time, and I it still plagues me today, but dinner time was family time. It wasn't scurry down a meal and run out and play and this, that, and the other. That was the time at Harp House that we bonded with one another, that we joked with one another, and that we loved on one another also, for good or for bad. We took time. I know now when I go out to eat with friends, it's no less than a 2 or 3 hour lunch, or dinner, because I don't scurry meals. I'm still stuck in my childhood. That was bonding time, catching up. And it's not about scuffling down food, it's about sharing and connecting in that moment with your family or your friends. And that was mealtime at Harp House.
Oh, that sounds beautiful. Sounds very
It
busy,
really
but beautiful.
was. Yeah,
Very
it
busy,
really
but
was.
beautiful. Yeah, yeah, lots of activity. Did your parents
Mhm.
or grandparents have any special traditions or routines?
Yes, my mom had to have her bottled Coke, a Coke every day, usually at nighttime, but she would have that one bottle of, at least one bottle of Coke, Coca-Cola. And Dad loved, he had to have, and I know you can relate to this, Carmen. He loved his donuts and his sherbet, his ice cream. So the donuts Dad had to have. He was always scurrying off to go get some donuts or some sweet rolls, and he had to have his sherbet or ice cream at nighttime. That has triggered on to our genes, into our genes too, because I don't know any harps growing up in that house that aren't ice cream eaters. I mean, gotta have that ice cream. And your mom is one of the biggest ones, Carmen. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
So
no doubt,
yeah,
no doubt.
yeah,
Or some sweet.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was, I should have said that. Dad was the one that introduced sweets to us. That there is no meal. In fact, there was no meal that we had growing up that did not contain what one would call some kind of fruit, sweet in there, whether it was breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Cookies with the lunch, and for breakfast to get down that oatmeal, we would have peaches or fruit cocktails or something that would scurry it down. And then dinner time, there was usually, mom was a terrific baker. She really was a terrific baker. We would have some kind of dessert, cakes or pies. And as I say, Dad loved his sweets. So yeah,
That's
okay,
funny.
that
Yep.
was.
So you're actually getting ahead of us, but that's what we're going to talk about next. So that the
I
question we just
know.
asked was,
A
I know,
lot
because
of this
that's the
is
one
going
we're
to come
both
up. My,
so excited to
oh,
get to, the food, I know. But
yeah.
I'm going to hold on one second. So I'm going to pause for just a second and
Oh,
then
you
we
know what?
will,
Let me go back. No, 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 no. Let me go back.
sure.
That last question. Did your parents or grandparents have any special traditions or routines?
Yes.
The donuts, but I almost forgot and I can't. Almost every Sunday, Dad would load all six of us up in a car, in his big caddy car, and we'd head off to, usually we would end up down at Grant Park. And at Grant Park, and this was usually in the evening time, Grant Park had Buckingham Fountain. And they would let us run wild in Grant Park, up and down the park, and this, that, and the other. Because at nighttime, when it got to be dark, about 9 o'clock, Buckingham Fountain would light up. light up, all the water would become different colors and that kind of thing. And we would always act like we were someplace, magical each and every time. Ooh, like kids. We loved Grant Park, and that was a tradition too, meaning heading off after Sunday dinner, after we had Sunday dinner, which was usually kind of early, about 4 o'clock, 4 or 5 o'clock, and then we'd head over to Grant Park, Buckingham Fountain. Sometimes, on occasion, we would head to an amusement park, which was out of amusement park or the zoo, Brookfield Zoo or Riverview amusement park. And that was maybe two, three, 4 times a year. We would head there and just have an awesome time at this amusement park, which I would say rivals Disneyland. It was just awesome. So those were traditions that we had.
Oh, those are wonderful. That sounds, I can only
Yes.
imagine on Sunday, all of you. How did all of y'all fit? But okay, that's
You
for another place
we
and
still
time.
well, they made cars big, they were a lot wider, wider at that
Uh-huh.
time. And
Wow.
there were, we weren't very big, and there was usually someone that was squeezed, usually me and Wendell would be squeezed in between. So, but all of us in that car would go.
Wow.
And the
Did
one
grandmother
thing
go
we would
also?
do, oh yeah, yeah, the whole family. She would be
Okay.
up front with there it would be mom and dad in the front, and I know Cynthia because she was the baby, and I'm pretty sure it was either Yvonne or myself up front, and then the boys were in the back. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, for the
Wow.
most part. So, and they weren't big kids, So and the way they made cars back then, as I say, they were wider. You could get
Hmm.
4 people
Okay.
easily back there, easily. 4 adult people back there, easy. So with children, it was even more so. Yeah. And of course,
Okay.
we would be saying, "Move over," but, but but all is well. We survived, but it was awesome. The one thing every once in a while, after we finished running up and down Grant Park, Dad would say, "Okay," because we'd be saying, "Are we going to get our ice cream now?" So he would get us ice cream. We get an ice cream cone or fudge sickle or whatever. And but the one rule he had was, "Can't nobody get in that car with no ice cream." You're not gonna get in the car with
Yeah.
any ice cream, so you better eat your ice cream while you're standing out here. Not
Right
taking it
here.
with you, not in that car. So
That's
anyway,
funny. Okay.
yes,
All right.
yes,
Well,
yes.
thank you for that walk down memory lane. 1 second, I'm going to pause it and we will continue with the next section, which will be
Which is
food for,
food.
yes. Yes, that's our thing. Okay, hold on. Okay. So now we are getting to hands down our favorite subject, which is food.
Amen. Can't be a harp in this family and not love food.
Which is food.
Cannot.
So what were your favorite meals growing up?
Yeah, when I just looked at that, Carmen, that
Hmm.
sentence again, I said, "Oh my goodness, it says meals, which is plural, which is what I had written down." I mean, because both my parents, both dad and mom were. Dad was the everyday cook because mom worked swing shifts. She went to school and this, that, and the other to get her degree and then on to get her master's degree. Okay. So, but mom did the big cookings, meaning the Sunday dinners. She would cook that. And she would do the holiday dinners. She would put that together mostly. Dad might be do the meat, whether it was a turkey or something like that. He might do that. But mom did all the preparations for the special meals. I'll call the special meals and the Sunday meals. But dad was the everyday cook for the most part. And I must say, I've got so many that I could just taste it. You could not grow up in Harp House and not like food. I mean, we loved food. We still do. And my favorites, okay, red beans and rice. Mom made the best red beans in the whole wide world. The best red beans. Uh, Even so much that at my wedding, That was one of the things that my husband Norman asked her to make for our wedding, and she did. But so red beans and rice, pork chops, potato salad. Mom made the best. My sister Bono Yvonne comes close to it, but mom made the best potato salad. And she made the best dressing. Dad made the best catfish. Ooh, and he made the best liver and onions. I know a lot of people say that, but if you eat his liver and onions, it's almost like eating pot roast or a beef, as opposed to liver. He made the best, and people would be asking for it when they would come over. Can I have some? Oh, Hop, you got any liver and onions and grits? He would have the liver and onions and grits to go together. So, anyway, those were my favorite meals growing up. Although we had a lot of others, which I don't want to talk about, like oatmeal. Yeah, but those were the best.
Yep, I was just telling someone the other day about the liver and onions. Loved it. So I
Yeah.
truly
Oh,
understand that.
good. I'm so glad you agree with that.
Oh
And it's
my
catfish
goodness.
too. What's the best?
Yes.
Oh
Yes.
man.
Those were the best
Yeah.
days when he would call us over, making some liver and
Yes.
onions, making some catfish, and I'd be like, "Well, we're right there." Okay.
Yes.
So I
Yeah.
want to ask the next question, which is, do you remember
Okay.
any recipes passed down to you from your mom or your grandmother, or I guess in this case from your dad, whichever?
Yeah. And I want to say yes and no. Do I remember any recipes? They didn't operate off of recipes,
Exactly.
back
Yeah.
then in those days. I mean, that's y'all white folk stuff. Well, somewhat. I don't want to say that
Am I
really,
gonna have
but
to edit
anyway.
you, woman?
Yeah, you
Keep
might have
going,
to.
keep going, carry on.
Uh, yeah, but what she did, she would show when mom was cooking, and she didn't have us in the kitchen that often, nor dad, but we would watch. Yvonne and I would watch, and I don't know about so much Yvonne, but I would watch what mom was putting in things because my red beans and rice are almost as good as hers. And spaghetti, mom made the best spaghetti and meat sauce. Oh Jesus, very good. My spaghetti and my red beans and rice are almost as good as mom's. And I'm saying that not from me, but because dad said that when he had come out to live in California when mom passed. He said, "Oh, this is almost like your mom." So that's a good compliment. So, uh, and it was just from observing what she put in her foods. And coming from New Orleans, we know it's all about the spices, that she did. When she's cooking a pot roast, putting that garlic in between that meat as it's cooking, made the best pot roast or beef roast or whatever you want to call it, using those spices, because that's what New Orleans is known for. Um, so yeah, she was a great, and she was a great baker. I can't do baking that much, but Yvonne, my sister Yvonne, used to be. I don't know if she still is, but she used to be a good cake baker. She could make a pretty good cake, and she did a pretty good job with the potato salad of mom's using mom's ingredients in terms of potato salad. So yes,
Aw, I love that. Okay,
okay.
so was there and we may have kind of touched on this already.
We
If
have, we have.
Yeah,
So these
okay.
are gonna overlap. Was
Okay,
there a
that's fine.
special
I'll move
dish?
on. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Who was the best cook in the family and what made their food so memorable?
Well, I'm not going to
I
to
think
go
everybody,
back
huh?
right in one to the other because I think
Mm-hmm.
I touched on that. They were
Mm-hmm.
both
Mm-hmm.
good cooks in their own rights, and their
Exactly.
food was so memorable, as you said. Like I don't know what dad did to that liver and onions because most
Mm-hmm.
times liver and onions would send people, and especially kids, running the other way. But it was good. It was very, very
Mm-hmm.
good. I don't know what mom did to red beans and rice because red beans would send most folks, beans of any kind, would send most folks running the other way. I don't want nobody's bean until they had moms. So they were both good cooks in their own right because, and I'm going to go back to the brain, go back to they use common sense cooking, uh, trying a little of this and this in there, and knowing that this particular herb or spice is good for that, and let me see what it tastes like. That's what they did until they hit 100, batted 100 with making that food good. So they were
Hmm.
both good cooks in their own right, in their own way, with some of
Yes.
the dishes that they prepared.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Except for Dad's oatmeal. I gotta keep
And
getting that in. Sorry, Dad. Yeah.
and look, and
Ah,
that passed down the generation too, and none of the
oh
grandkids will look
gosh,
to that.
yes.
Yeah, that was, look, as much as
And
we
just for
loved
just for
some,
the
we
camera.
also hated the oatmeal. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I just want to say, since this is being recorded, because I know people are saying, "Well, the oatmeal keeps coming up." No, this my dad made the worst oatmeal, and what was so funny, as I said, Mom did most of the the Sunday cooking and the holiday cooking, and Dad did the day to day. So every day, and with 6 kids, what's the one thing that you're gonna cook for them, and going out into Chicago weather to get to school and this, that, and the other? Oatmeal. Dad made oatmeal where you put the spoon in there and it stands up straight, and he like like mush, and he'd expect us to eat it. So we had to have innovative ways of saying that our bowl was empty, like putting the oatmeal around the bowl. And then he'd say after that, okay, you can get up and go. He'd look at the bowl and it was empty and we run out the door to school and he picks up the bowl and there's that oatmeal all stuck around the bowl. So the next day we would be getting double the portion of oatmeal that we had the day before, because we made a mess. He would say, "You made a mess and left all that oatmeal here, so you're gonna get some extra." And we could not leave until the oatmeal was eaten. So many times we went out the house, especially my brother Jerome and my brother Wendell. Many times they went out the house looking like who is it, Satchmo, because the jaws were full of oatmeal until they got outside, and then they would spit it all out. But they were, Dad made the worst oatmeal, and it passed down to generation to generation. When
Yes,
my
it did.
nephews came along, and my nieces too, and they were
Hmm.
over at her house. Dad would be fixing breakfast, and they would be coming down, and he'd have oatmeal for them. And they looked there, and you should see them. They look like they don't say anything like we would do. We would do to Dad, but they would sit there with tears rolling down their face
Mm-mm.
because they got to
Mm-mm.
go through the oatmeal thing too. So anyway, just Dad's worst oatmeal, and he didn't understand that
Absolutely.
stuff was bad. But anyway, that's it. He still
Uh,
did. Oh,
yep, the
and
good old days. Okay, so
yes.
I am going to pause, and then next we will come back with family traditions and
Mhm,
celebrations.
mhm.
Okay, so on to family traditions and celebrations. How did your family celebrate birthdays, weddings, holidays?
Well, for birthdays, okay, we always had cake and ice cream for whomever's birthday was coming up. We did that, and we did the birthday. We didn't have a party because we were a party. I mean, all of us, but we didn't have parties per se. We were invited to a number of parties of our friends and so forth, but I don't recall us having other children over to have a birthday party for any one of us, okay? Even though there might have been a person in and out, but we always, for someone's birthday, we always had Dad and Mom always provided cake and ice cream for us. Uh, and at holidays, all the traditional foods and decorations and were displayed. So we always celebrated the holidays. We always had the Christmas tree. We always did the Easter bunny, painted the eggs for Easter, uh, and didn't want to eat them the next day, but we wanted to paint the eggs, yeah, but didn't want to eat the hard boiled egg. So, and Thanksgiving time was always very, very, very festive. Always had the big turkey or goose or ham every once in a while, but mainly the turkey, the dressing, and so forth. And with all of us around, and lots of food. It was all Harp House is about food, so we always had. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad. We always had plenty of food. Now, whether it was good like that oatmeal or not, but it was all we did have food. I can't say that we would be one that would say we were starving. We were not, even though there were a number of us in the household. Okay, and that's it. Are you there, Carmen?
I am certainly here. I was coming
Okay,
off of mute. Sorry about that.
okay.
Okay, so then the next question is, what was the most memorable celebration you can recall?
Ah, I'm going only because it was performed at mom and dad's house. Um, but there were a number that of memorable celebrations that we had that were away from mom and dad's house. But the wedding of Murial and Norman, that would be myself and my late husband, it was performed, meaning the reception was performed at my parents' backyard. Uh, it was very, very memorable because his mom came from Mississippi, which was wonderful to attend. There were a number of friends from both sides of our a number of friends from both sides from both of us that attended. It was both the second marriage for both of us, for both Norman and myself, and it was wonderful. And because the person that performed the wedding, he was a minister. He was also an ex boyfriend of mine. But anyway, he performed, he did one, and he was in awe of my husband. He definitely liked my husband, as did my parents. They absolutely loved my parents. And again, the memorable part of it was, and I think it was when my when mom asked Norman, what can I give you other than my daughter's hand in marriage for your wedding? And he said red beans and rice. I mean, that was it. Hey, he's in the family. The red beans and rice. And he said, I would love you to prepare that red beans and rice for my wedding. And when dad asked him, because I did, even though it was a second marriage for both of us, when I had Norman, I told him he had proposed to me, and I said, if you want to marry me, I want you to ask my father, And as scared as he did in our house. So that was the most memorable because I have all the memories from there, but there were many other uh, celebrations that we had. We had a 50th wedding anniversary that all of the Harp children put on for my parents, but that was memorable. I'm hoping for them. This was most memorable for me. So, okay, Carmen.
Uh-huh. I see, I see, I see. Okay, so here's the last question in this section, and that is, did your family attend church or community events together?
Harp children always, thank you, Mom, attended church from a young age. We were told we went to Sunday school. We did go to Sunday school, and Dad went to church. Now, Mom, on the other hand, she stayed home because she said that was her day and the Lord's day to rest. So, yeah, and I get it. I definitely get it. So, but yes, we all attended church. Mom too, every once in a while, but mostly, but the Harp children, we went to Sunday school and on to church as we grew up, into the big church later, every Sunday. Every Sunday, the Harp children were heading off to church. Community events, there were so many, well, there were six of us, five, six of us, and there was always something going on. So mom and dad might not have a chance to get to all of the events that all of us were in. And that was a number of things, whether it was sports stuff or scholastic stuff. But if they did, and we were there, meaning my other brothers and sisters were always there in supporting each and every one of each their other brother and sister in whatever they were doing. And I say mom and dad might not because of work. I mean, they were continuously working to make life better for us, and so appreciated, so appreciated. So that's it.
Okay, well, since there's just one more, I'm going to go on and let's tack that one on. So, what was the hardest? And this section is life lessons and legacy. What was the hardest challenge you faced growing up, and how did you overcome it?
Carmen, I'm laughing because I haven't overcome it. I keep asking the Lord to, well, two things. Keep asking the Lord to help me with this, but you know what? He said, no, this is you, Muriel. When I was when I was probably in third grade, I got a report card, and I have that report card still with me today in my scrapbook from. But I got a report card, and in those days they gave out E's and G's and whatever. My report card and all those subjects went down. I had E's and everything, except at the bottom the teacher had written in red ink, and I can still see her face today, but she had written in red ink, Muriel talks too much. Doesn't know how to stop talking. And that's followed me on and on and on. And I think that's got to do with if I talk it, I remember it. And I do. The hardest challenge, and I'm still facing that, is talking, but I'm talking for the right reasons. And it is a challenge that I faced growing up, because even my sisters and brothers would say, Muriel, no, give it the short version. And it was a challenge. And how did I overcome it? I didn't. That I didn't, but it's channeling it in the right direction. I've channeled it more for community issues. I challenged it, uh, channeled it more for biblical issues. I that was a challenge, and I think I'm pushing it. Thank you, Lord, in the right direction in terms of what my purpose is for my big mouth. Okay.
Yep, I'm not disagreeing or
I,
agreeing. That's just the beauty of the
I am
family.
aware.
Beauty of the
Did you
family.
did you hear me? Is this being recorded?
This is
No.
being
And
recorded. This is very much being
because,
recorded.
well, my cousins know that about me. They know, and I'm good. Oh, and speaking of, I
Hmm.
mean, that is what I told my daughter growing up. Right is right. I don't care if you're my mother, my father, my my employer, my pastor. If it's wrong in my eyes through the Lord, then I'm gonna let you know it's wrong. I'm not one of those quiet ones that sit in the back and say, I'm not gonna say anything about it. She'll get over it. Or no, I'm gonna let you know that it's wrong. I don't try and do it in a nasty way, but wrong is wrong. And I told my daughter there are three things I don't like: a thief, a sneak, and a liar. That's
Absolutely.
it.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Well, on that note, we have wrapped up all the questions. I appreciate you
And it
answering
was
all of
under an
them.
hour, right?
I'm sure if it was not, then it was close. So that's pretty impressive
Okay.
considering
Yeah.
the hardest part, the challenge you faced was being quiet. So yes, you did fabulous. Everything was absolutely wonderfully stated. So
Oh,
thank you. I
yes.
will take care of these,
Thank you,
and we
thank you. And
will,
I'm sitting here
yeah.
looking at this page that's saying catfish and potato salad. Let me cover this up. I'm getting hungry.
We are not going back to the food for
I am
recipes
so
section.
hungry.
So I'm going to come off of record, and
Okay.
thank you. I will make
Thank
sure
you
that we
so
take care of
much.
these.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank
thank
you.
you. All right, take
Yeah,
care.